Hey, 4.2, using pi. In the last lesson, we talked about how the constant of proportionality we could use, and we're always going to multiply by something. And we talked about how pi could equal several approximations, and we said that we're mainly going to use 3.14 as our approximation of pi. Okay, so we're going to be using that to answer some questions. But before we begin, I want us to be sure that we know, please excuse the drawing of this circle. A circle is always equidistant, and this is far from equidistant since I can't draw with the mouse too well. A set of points around that center. It's all equidistant. It's the same distance from the center. Okay, so if we have something from the center to the outside edge, that's going to represent our radius. Okay, now if it goes from side to side through the center, that is our diameter. And this is a review of things that I know you already know. And circumference is that distance around, okay? That distance around. And those are some basic terms that we need to know. So to go from the diameter to the circumference, that's where we talked about that constant of proportionality and needing it to find the circumference. Now, there's a relationship that you need to know between the radius and the diameter. The radius is half of the diameter because we know if we have two radii, which is the plural of radius, it will make a full diameter as we see right here. Okay, so this is a radius, this is a radius, all of it together makes a diameter. So this one right here, if we take half of this diameter to get the radius, we know that the radius is going to be 1.5 feet. Okay, so here I have to remember to multiply by that constant, or pi, 3.14. And if I do 3.14 times that 3, that's going to give me 9.42, 9 and 42 hundredths. Okay, and that's feet. Circumference is a linear unit. That means it's a straight line. You're just going to use the regular unit of measurement that you see. Well, since the radius is half the diameter, that means 2 radii will make a diameter. So we got to multiply this by 2. And if we notice here, that's multiplied by 2 also. So that's going to be 48. So if we multiply that by our approximation of pi, we get 48 times 3.14, and that gives us 150 and 2/10 feet. Now, I'm rounding a little bit here, and that's okay. We can round. But let's look at this part right here. If we have this 20 centimeters, we're going backwards, so that means we got to divide our y by that constant of proportionality. So we're going to do 20 divided by pi, and that's going to give us about 6.4. Now, once again, I rounded that to the tenths place, and once our units are off, this is centimeters. This one is inches. Pay attention to those units. I'm doing a poor job of telling you that. So here I've got to divide this by 2, or 3.2 centimeters for that radius. Okay. Now, if we scroll on down and we see a bug sitting on the tip of a wind turbine, see the bug right here? If that blade is 24 inches, now this, we have to kind of look at this and know that this will form a circle all the way around. And once again, I've got a very poor circle. And we want to know how many times that bug will fly around if it makes one complete turn. All right, so you see where it is now. That bird turns all the way around. Well, what was the distance that that bug traveled? Well, it's traveling its radius, so we're going to need a diameter. So if it's 24, that's going to be 48. Well, that makes the circumference of a circle. So that 48 times our pi is going to travel about 150.7 units. Okay? So that's kind of what this